Before the lawsuits, before the raids, before the headlines, there were whispers, and those whispers began in the 90s. This is the full, uncensored timeline of Sean Diddy Combs' scandal, from rising mogul to courtroom chaos, and by the end, you'll see how the warning signs were always there. Have you followed Diddy's story for years, or are you just now catching up? Drop since day one, or just found out in the comments. Club shooting incident, J-Lo, guns, and the first trial. It started with a bang, literally. On December 27, 1999, Sean Puff Daddy Combs and Jennifer Lopez were inside Club New York when a shooting erupted. 3 people were injured, and in the chaos, Diddy fled the scene in a Lincoln Navigator with J-Lo beside him. Police pulled them over just blocks away, finding a loaded gun in the vehicle. This wasn't just a bad look. Diddy was arrested and charged with weapons violations, while tabloids exploded with headlines like Puff and J-Lo in gun drama. But here's what most people missed. It was the first public crack in Diddy's pristine image as a polished mogul. Behind the music empire was the first real courtroom moment, and it wouldn't be the last. Takeaway: this wasn't a one-time scandal. It was the prologue. Acquittal and public image makeover. 2 years later, Diddy stood in front of a Manhattan jury facing serious prison time. Prosecutors painted him as a reckless, entitled star, but his legal team, led by celebrity defense attorney Benjamin Braffman, mounted an aggressive defense. The turning point. A bodyguard testified that the gun was his, not Diddy's. The verdict came in, not guilty. The media coverage was wild, but Diddy didn't just walk free. He emerged rebranded. He dropped Puff Daddy and became P. Diddy. He started appearing in suits instead of flashy streetwear. A calculated transformation. This was no accident. It was strategy. Diddy beat the charges, but the trial taught him how to survive scandal. Takeaway: he learned early that image is armor. Making the Band and Bad Boys power play. By 2005, Diddy wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. Riding high on his not guilty verdict, he launched Making the Band on MTV and became a reality TV star overnight. From screaming at aspiring artists to forcing late-night cheesecake runs, the show was chaotic, but addictive. What viewers didn't realize? It was a flex, a televised power move. Diddy wasn't just shaping artists, he was dominating them. Behind the scenes, Bad Boy Records was tightening its grip on contracts, publishing, and master rights. The drama made for good TV, but it also revealed Diddy's obsession with control. That same control would become central to the lawsuits filed years later. Takeaway: public charisma, private chokehold. 2007. Cassie enters the picture. In 2007, a new face entered Diddy's orbit. 21-year-old R&B singer Cassie Ventura. She'd just dropped Me and You, and she had the look, the sound, and the mystery. Diddy signed her to Bad Boy, and not long after, whispers of a romantic relationship began swirling. At first, it seemed like a typical star-mentor pairing, but insiders later described it differently. A secretive, imbalanced relationship filled with red flags. Cassie was rarely seen without Diddy nearby. Her career moved in fits and starts, while his influence only grew. The power dynamic was clear. She wasn't just dating the boss, she was living in his world by his rules. Takeaway: the story wasn't just music, it was manipulation in plain sight. 2012. Rumors of abuse, alleged control. Begins by 2012, things between Diddy and Cassie were complicated, and the cracks were starting to show. Industry insiders began whispering about control issues, isolation, and erratic behavior behind closed doors. Cassie's music career stalled, despite Diddy's resources. That wasn't just bad business. It raised eyebrows. Rumors swirled that she couldn't make a move without his approval. Friends disappeared. Public appearances became stiff and tightly managed. Nothing was confirmed, but the energy shifted. And in legal filings years later, those whispers would become testimony. Takeaway: the warning signs were there. They just weren't believed. 2015. Miami Yacht Incident and NDA Whispers. In 2015, something happened on a private yacht in Miami, and while the full story never hit headlines, it triggered a wave of whispered NDAs. According to former staffers, there was a violent altercation involving Cassie, a bodyguard, and Diddy. The aftermath: settlements, silence, and sudden disappearances. Former employees began hinting at a pattern: aggression behind the scenes, followed by hush money and airtight legal threats. Cassie didn't speak out. The press didn't press, but those in the inner circle knew. This wasn't an isolated event. The Miami yacht became a symbol of how far power could reach without accountability. Takeaway: silence isn't proof of innocence, just power at work. 2018. Growing tensions, Cassie cuts ties. In 2018, after over a decade of whispers, Cassie finally walked away. Their breakup stunned fans, but behind the headlines was a much darker reality. Those close to her said she'd been preparing to leave for years, quietly distancing herself, building a support system, and protecting her mental health. When she posted a cryptic message online, "Sometimes growth means letting go," it wasn't just a breakup quote. It was a silent scream. Diddy made a few vague public statements, but Cassie stayed silent. No drama, no accusations, yet. But the exit was real, and it would set the stage for everything that followed. Takeaway: the quiet break was just the calm before the storm. 2022, R&B artist allegations begin circulating online. By 2022, the Diddy conversation shifted again, this time from exes to artists. A handful of R&B singers, songwriters, and producers began posting cryptic tweets and podcast soundbites, alleging exploitation and psychological abuse by powerful men in the industry. While few named names, the dots were easy to connect: powerful labels, secret contracts, and gaslighting behind closed doors. Diddy's name came up, but never directly. Still, people noticed a pattern. When one artist hinted at being owned emotionally and professionally, fans immediately speculated. The smoke was growing thicker, even before anyone struck a match. Takeaway: before the lawsuits came, the survivors were already speaking, just softly. 2023, Cassie files lawsuit and settles overnight, November 16, 2023. Cassie files a bombshell lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging years of rape, abuse, human and coercion. The court documents are explicit. They detail violent assaults, forced drug use, and a world built on fear. Social media explodes. News outlets scramble. For the first time, the public hears Cassie's voice, unfiltered and legal. And then, just one day later, it's over. A private settlement is reached within 24 hours. No trial, no testimony, just silence and a wave of speculation. But the impact was irreversible. Cassie lit the match. The fire had begun. Takeaway: one lawsuit cracked the dam wide open. 2023. Late. Federal investigations quietly begin. While headlines moved on, the federal government did not. Behind the scenes, Homeland Security investigations, HSI, began quietly building a case. Witnesses were contacted, flights were tracked, money trails were followed. Insiders say NDAs were flagged. Former employees started cooperating, some anonymously, some under protection. Investigators were asking, were these allegations isolated or part of a larger pattern of organized misconduct? The media didn't know it yet, but something massive was coming. This wasn't just about Cassie anymore. It was about a system, and Diddy was at the center. Takeaway: the real case had only just begun. 2024. Civil lawsuits stack up. Puff makes statement. As 2024 begins, more lawsuits hit the courts, fast. Models, assistants, and music industry insiders start filing civil suits with disturbingly similar claims: physical assault, coercion, drugging, and threats. Each one adds fuel to a growing legal inferno. The press goes wild, social media is flooded. For the first time, fans begin questioning Diddy's legacy publicly. In response, Diddy releases a video statement: calm voice, luxury backdrop. He calls the claims sickening, says they're lies, and insists he's being extorted. But the tone? Office. The empire was cracking, and denial no longer worked like it used to. Takeaway: reputation can't outpace receipts forever. March 2024. Homeland Security raids. Diddy's homes. Then came the moment no one saw coming. In March 2024, Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Simultaneously, drones overhead, SWAT teams, tactical gear, federal warrants. Neighbors were stunned. Cameras rolled, and online people asked the same thing: what does Homeland Security want with a rapper? The answer was chilling. Authorities were reportedly investigating human trafficking, organized sex rings, and financial crimes tied to shell companies and offshore accounts. This wasn't music industry beef anymore. This was federal. Takeaway: when the feds show up with a battering ram, it's not for clout. April 2024. Witnesses speak out. Security. Assistance. After the raids, the silence broke. Former employees, drivers, security guards, assistants began coming forward, many anonymously, some through sworn depositions. Their accounts painted a disturbing picture of what life was like behind the scenes. Late-night parties with strict no-phone rules, panic rooms, controlled movements, and guests who left visibly shaken. Some said they were ordered to clean up drugs, others said they saw violence firsthand. Suddenly, the allegations weren't just legal, they were human. And these weren't bitter exes or online trolls. These were the people who worked for him. Takeaway: when the insiders flip, the narrative flips with them.
May 2024, Kanye, 50 Cent, and others react publicly. Then came the celebrity ripple effect. 50 Cent, never one to stay quiet, posted memes, screenshots, and blunt accusations, saying Diddy's been wild for years and hinting at what the streets already knew. Kanye West, fresh off his own controversies, dropped cryptic Instagram stories alluding to parties that felt demonic. Even artists once close to Diddy, dead silent. The shift was obvious: the industry that once celebrated him had gone quiet, or turned hostile. When other stars start stepping back, it's not just PR, it's protection. Takeaway: Hollywood knows when to run. And they were running. June 2024, first criminal charges rumored. By summer 2024, the pressure had reached a boiling point. Whispers turned into leaks: Diddy was under active federal investigation, and criminal indictments were imminent. Multiple outlets hinted at charges ranging from racketeering to sex trafficking, and sources said sealed indictments were already filed. Online, a new wave of speculation exploded. Will Diddy get arrested? Who flipped? Is this the next R. Kelly? But Diddy? Still defiant. Still denying. Still partying. Behind the scenes, the feds were closing in. But in public, he acted untouchable. Takeaway: the louder the denial, the closer the knock. February 2025, pre-trial explodes online. As 2025 kicked off, the Diddy trial became the biggest legal event in pop culture. Daily updates. Viral TikToks. Reddit threads with 50,000 plus comments. Even mainstream media couldn't keep up with the chaos. Court filings revealed disturbing new claims, alleged sex dungeons, blackmail tapes, and witness intimidation. Each day, something darker came out. And then came the celebrity subpoenas. Clooney. Kanye. Allegedly even Jay-Z. The line between courtroom and Hollywood had officially blurred. This wasn't a case anymore. It was a reckoning. Takeaway: when justice walks into Hollywood, everyone holds their breath. March 2025, George Clooney testifies, Day 19 court. It felt like something out of a movie, because it almost was. On Day 19 of the trial, George Clooney was called to the stand. Cameras couldn't roll, but the transcript blew up online. Clooney, calm and serious, testified about a private party he attended years ago, hosted by Diddy. What he described? Not just excess, but exploitation. Whispers about hidden cameras. Uncomfortable guests. A party that felt off. Clooney didn't accuse. He described. And that might have been even more damning. Because when Hollywood royalty takes the stand, you know this is no longer tabloid fluff. Takeaway: credibility can cut deeper than accusations. Mid-2025, legal future of Diddy, collapse or comeback. And now, we're here. As of mid-2025, Diddy faces an avalanche of legal battles. Some civil. Some criminal. Federal. State. Ongoing. His companies. Quiet. His name. Toxic. His legal team. On the defense 24/7. But still, no conviction yet. No official sentence. Just court dates and speculation. Some fans still defend him. Others say the fall is long overdue. The only certainty: the next chapter hasn't been written. And whether it's collapse or comeback, Diddy's story will define a cultural era. Takeaway: sometimes, the most powerful fall the hardest. From the clubs of the 90s to the courtrooms of today, the Diddy timeline isn't just about one man, it's about power, silence, celebrity, and consequence. And whether he walks free or not, the truth has already changed everything. If you made it this far, drop a in the comments to let us know. Subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the scandals. This video is for informational purposes only. It is not professional legal advice. All information is based on publicly available sources, court records, and media coverage. Viewers are encouraged to form their own conclusions and seek official updates from qualified legal experts or news agencies.